and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm Britton Hess. I'm your host, and I'm here to give you my favorite Underdog fantasy plays every day. You can use these however you'd like on whatever site you like. There should be some sort of comparison, but I do dig deep into the Underdog menu to find the best value. So a lot of times the numbers I'm giving out are going to be the best in the industry if you like playing props or higher, lower daily fantasy markets. But again, use Daily Dog when you sign up for the app. It's a great deposit bonus, and we make money on this app. The last 3 days, the entire life of the show, my play of the day that I've given out in this 10-minute podcast has won. So we're going to try to keep that streak going for day number 4 and continue putting money in my pocket and to all of the people listening. And by the way, if anyone out there has been tailing my plays every day, you should send me a screenshot, and I'll try to get you some free SGPN gear or something. Because it's pretty cool that we started so hot, and I want to try to reward the people who've been here since the beginning. It's a small family at first, but we will grow it because we are going to keep doing the homework, keep diving into the massive Underdog fantasy board, and keep finding value. Let's just start let's actually get into the meat of the show here and talk a little bit about what we watched in the French Open this morning. So we had 2 huge upsets. We had Jasmine Paolini come back and beat Elena Rybakina, which is a kind of touchy subject to me because I didn't give it out as an official play on the show yesterday. It wasn't part of our show pick'em slip, but it was something that I did recommend at the end of the show. Jasmine Paolini higher than 2.0 or higher than 2 double faults against Elena Rybakina. I thought it was the best higher number on the board in the entire tennis board yesterday, but sadly that did not come home. Paolini controlled her serve. She only had 1 double fault. And she was content to just get Rybakina into rallies and win the match that way. She was not trying to win it with her serve by overpowering someone like Rybakina because, Paolini is a small woman. She does not have much power. She's got a little bit of a Simona Halep vibe to her. She'll chase down anything. But I don't really have an official play for the slip in that match against Mira Andreeva, the teenager who was born in 2007. Yeah, let that sink in. I do have a lean in that I'll give out at the end of the show if you're up at 5 a.m. and ready to start firing on Underdog like I am. But it's not going to be an official show play because it just starts too early and will not be accessible to enough people who will be listening and watching this show. I do want to take a moment to talk about Coco Gauff's match against Iga Swiatek. Iga is 10-1 versus Coco. Coco has trouble in big matches with her double fault to ace ratio. And against someone like Iga Swiatek, you cannot be giving up free points in your serve, and you've got to be able to steal as many points as you can with your aces because Swiatek is such a good return player. And also, Coco's had some trouble with her ratio of winners to unforced errors. A winner is a shot that you hit that the opponent can't hit, and you win the point. Unforced error is when you're just in the middle of a rally, and all of a sudden you drill the ball 15 yards outside of the court. So I think that Swiatek is very well equipped to take care of business in this. I would lean to her to losing less than a set, but nothing too official on that one. I just think that at this venue, Coco is kind of out of her depth. Iga has done this so many times before. But yeah, not an official play, just a little bit of a lean. I just wanted to get that out there before we dive into the plays of the day and look back at what we hit yesterday. So let's start with Wednesday's plays. We had Starling Marte higher than 1.5 total bases. He felt something in his knee, quote unquote, before the game started against the Nationals, and ultimately did not play. We didn't get our slip canceled. That leg was just taken away. No harm, no foul. Although I felt great about Starling Marte going over that number against Patrick Corbin. Felt like everybody else on the Mets had a big day, and I think Marte would have had a big day as well if he would have been active in the game. But no harm, no foul. We didn't lose because of it, so we'll move on. Our other plays, though, we had Carlos Santana to hit higher or to have higher than a half a total base versus the Yankees and Carlos Rodon. I loved that play because Santana has faced Rodon a bunch of times. At his first at bat, Anthony Volpe stole a single with a great defensive play at shortstop. I was like, oh no, hopefully that's not the only chance he gets. And for a while, it felt like it was the only chance he was going to get. Santana did not get another at-bat until I think the 6th inning after batting in the 3rd. I think he had 2 at-bats versus Rodon, but the good news is his second at-bat was a home run to right field, so over half total base comes home, no problem at all. The last one was we had the over in hits for Jose Barrios at 5.5 against the Orioles. It looked like I was worried they were going to pull him. When he got to 6 hits given up, we hit our bet or hit our pick, and he got pulled for the game shortly after that. So we snuck that one across the finish line, but it was a great matchup for the Orioles hitters. Barrios, honestly, he could have given up 6 hits much earlier in that game than he did when he made it to, I think, the 6th and 2/3 innings. But enough about yesterday and the plays that hit. Let's get into today's plays for Wednesday, June 6th, 2024. We're going to go back to Canada. We're going north of the border again, and this game starts at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you don't wait in getting this in, because I think this number is probably going to move. And I also don't want you to miss out on this game. We're kind of on a short slate for baseball tomorrow, and the NBA markets have been picked over, in my opinion. There wasn't too much attracting me. So we're going all MLB again today, and we're taking Yusei Kikuchi higher than 5.0 hits allowed versus the Orioles. Kikuchi is just like a raw average. This isn't the most scientific thing, but it's just a good baseline to start your handicap on. Kikuchi is giving up 5.75 hits per start in 12 starts this season. He's had 5+ hits given up in his last 4 starts and 6+ in 3 of his last 4 starts. In his last 6 games, he's given up 6 or more hits 4 times. So his form is fading. He is not as good as he was early in the season. He actually came out pretty strong, but he is getting knocked around a little bit. And the Orioles have his number. He's given up 6+ hits in his last 4 starts versus the Orioles, dating back to last year. And also the Orioles bullpen didn't have to work a ton on Wednesday, but on Tuesday they had to carry a heavy load. And now Toronto is going on a road trip tomorrow, so I do not expect them to really let Kikuchi sit out there. Or I do expect them to let Kikuchi sit out there and suffer if things are not going well. Lastly, Kikuchi has a hard hit percentage of 51%, and the Orioles lineup is full of hard hitters. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of good contact made by the Orioles in this game. I think that him giving up 5+ hits over the course of 6 innings is definitely a high likely outcome. So I'm happy to put this one on our slip at a normal payout. Oh, and I'll add one more note that 3 guys have 15+ at-bats against Yusei Kikuchi. All 3 of those guys are batting .333 or higher. And Ryan Mountcastle is batting .471 in 21 plate appearances versus Kikuchi. And he has 4 home runs versus him. I usually don't play the higher lower home run props, but if you are hankering for one, I would look at Ryan Mountcastle because he has a great shot at crushing a ball from Kikuchi. Next, I'm going to go to a big name player. I usually don't stay away from these kind of guys, these AL MVP, NL MVP type caliber players, just because there's usually not too much value on them. However, I'm going to be taking Juan Soto to have higher than 1.5 total bases against the Twins and Pablo Lopez. Soto has a ton of familiarity with Lopez. He's got 30 at-bats versus him with 10 hits. 3 of those hits have been doubles, and 3 of them have been home runs. So 20% of his at-bats against Pablo Lopez have resulted in higher than 1.5 total bases in a single swing. He's also a guy that can have multi-hit games. Just look at his recent box score. Soto is a guy who can string together 2 or 3 singles in a game and still get a total base prop home. So I am very happy to take Juan Soto higher than 1.5 total bases against Pablo Lopez. Lopez's metrics against lefties as well are pretty poor. His batting average against is up at .262. He's given up 7 doubles and 7 home runs versus lefties this year. If you think of guys that are going to do that versus Pablo Lopez, Juan Soto has to be at top of your list. Additionally, there could be a rain delay in this game. I don't think that it's going to get canceled. I don't think it's going to get canceled. It'll probably be delayed at worst. And there is a little bit of wind heading out to left field, which is great because we know Soto can push the ball out that direction as well. And by the way, this is a scorcher, so you're getting 1.05x on this play compared to a normal play of just 1x multiplier. So far we've got Yusei Kikuchi higher than 5.0 hits against and Juan Soto higher than 1.5 total bases. The last play is going to be in the Windy City, where we've seen a ton of hits in the last 2 days in the what is it? It's not the Subway Series. It's I forget what it's called. The Chicago White Sox versus the Cubs series, where both teams hit the ball all over the yard. Part of that, I think, was because Javier Assad was not starting for the Cubs. He's a guy that does not get hit much, so I'm taking lower than 5.0 hits against when he is playing the Reds on Thursday. Assad has been great this year. He's not allowed more than 5 runs actually in a single game in 12 starts. No team has got more than 5 hits against him. He's also a guy that does not usually go more than 5 innings plus an out or two. So he's a little bit protected in that regard. They're not usually going to leave Assad out to dry in the 7th and 8th inning when he loses his best stuff because he's such a volatile pitcher. So when things start to fade for him, they usually pull him quick, which helps in these types of props. He played the grid. Dating back to 2023, he's played the Reds 6 times and he's only given up more than 5 hits twice. So I think that this number, we're going to stay under 5, and at worst, he is going to stick right at 5, and we're going to push this selection. But I am not going to be losing sleep over it. Javier Assad is one of the most fun pitchers to watch if you haven't checked him out yet. He's so intense out there. And the Reds are really crappy against righties. They're bottom 3 in the league in batting average against righties. So I'm happy to take Assad as the final official play on this slip. So just to recap, we've got Yusei Kikuchi higher than 5.0 hits allowed. Juan Soto higher than 1.5 total bases, and Javier Assad lower than 5.0 hits against. The multiplier on this is 6.3x. So if you put $10 down, you'll get 63.5 back. We're playing with house money. We've won all of our plays so far this week, so I'm happy to take a little bit of a longer shot here. And again, I feel great about this one hitting. If you're up super early, I would recommend playing Mira Andreeva higher than 3.0 double faults in the French Open against Jasmine Paolini. She is born in 2007. She's young, she's hungry, she's aggressive. She is going to try to serve Paolini off the court, which is easier said than done because Paolini moves so well. But the youth in Andreeva is going to keep her trying. And most of her matches so far in the French Open, she's had higher than 3.0 double faults. And if you compare this just on sports books, like DraftKings, for example, has Andreeva's double fault number at 3.5 with the over juiced to minus 150. Another sports book has it at 3.5 with a pick'em. Either way, you're getting massive value on an even payout of Mira Andreeva higher than 3.0 double faults in her match versus Jasmine Paolini. So let's try to keep this winning streak going. Let's try to cash another ticket, and this is a big one, 6.4x. And let's hope all of our games get played and all of our players actually start tomorrow, because it'd be nice to have a clean slip that comes home and makes a bunch of money for all the listeners and viewers. And like and subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you would like, because we need to grow this channel. I'm going to try to keep putting out winners, and it would be great if you do your part and help grow the show. Thank you very much, and let's make some money.